speaker for the session, and his name is Perry Klein, and Perry is from the Mittera Group, and so we'll get Perry on the visual here as well. So Perry, welcome, and Perry is the CTO and Vice President at Mittera Group. Perry brings more than 30 years of experience in communication technology, printing, mailing, and fulfillment to Mittera and its customers. He currently works with customers to bring quality products and services that generate new revenue for Mittera, and Perry has been involved with multiple acquisitions over the last 10 years. Welcome, Perry, to the first edition of Xeikon Cafe TV for the graphic art commercial print market.
Good morning. As you can see, my picture, I have a beard right now from the coronavirus, but everybody's probably looking a little bit different at home, working from home and that kind of stuff. So, but welcome, and a little bit about Mittera. Our corporate headquarters is in Des Moines, Iowa. We're privately held, and I've been involved in about 13, 14 acquisitions in 10 states. Across the U.S., have about 1,200 employees. That was at the beginning of the year. It's been a rough year with the coronavirus, but and those acquisitions, what we were constantly looking at is our customer base. We looked at different geographical regions, and then the other thing is they had to be financially attractive. But as our number of our acquisitions, we added customers and really with no overlap. So it was like a net new customers in a lot of our acquisitions. So through those acquisitions, we have a lot of equipment. We have digital presses from every manufacturer out there. We have about 30 sheet fed presses, 8 web presses, heat set web presses, some of them different sizes, different cutoffs. We run inkjet, inline inkjetting on, and then a lot of finishing. And that finishing can be in the ranges of for direct mail, it can be in our letter shops, it can be folding, perfect binding, saddle stitching. We have gluer folders for box making and those types of things. So big variety of services. And then the other thing that we've done is over the years added a lot of services that support the printing industry. And those can be data analytics, they can be creative services. We have a studio that does photography. And then obviously what they do with that photography, they incorporate it into some of our direct mail, they're incorporated into our newspaper printing. So a big variety of inserts and things that we're doing. So what we've been able to do, and then because some of these are new services from acquisitions, we're able to cross-sell those to our other customers. So a lot of cross-promotion and cross-selling in our company. So the other thing that kind of as we go through the diversity of customers that we support, it includes newspaper inserts, publications, magazines, postcards and direct mail, inserted pieces. So a lot of it's really just traditional commercial print. And obviously because of some of those acquisitions, we still have customers in those local markets that we do work for too. So we do work for national customers, but then those local ones. So.
Excellent, Perry. Given the range of work that Mittera does, can you share with our audience the complement of digital and offset, and what factors go into deciding when a job is produced traditionally or digitally?
Okay. On all of our digital devices, they're generally variable data printing. So there is a component that the customer is looking for, variable black only, variable color. They're wanting that quality. But with offset presses, web presses, and digital, we have the capability to kind of give the best solution to our customers. We can have some promotions where some of it's printed on our web press, where it has some variable data, but we also, a lot of it goes onto our digital presses and with variable data. Obviously, most of our smaller run jobs, we can gang up a lot of the same, if it's the same stock and the same size, we'll gang those up on our digital presses and can commingle them automatically. So there's a lot of flexibility that we look at when we're doing applications. Couple of our applications, we are I'm reading them. Okay. A couple of those applications I'm looking at ganging runs of 1,000 to 5,000, but there'll be 200 of those, and they'll just run back to back on our Xeikon presses. So we also look at a number of trigger campaigns where we'll receive a file from a customer, and then we'll be on press that night and mail the next day. So there's a big variety of web of applications. The other thing we have gotten into is a lot of web to print apps that print on our digital presses, and almost exclusively on our digital presses.
Excellent. And Perry, what led you to buy additional Xeikon presses? Because as you mentioned, some of the early presses came part of acquisition. So again, what led you to buy additional Xeikon presses?
Part of it's efficiency. All of us, if you have cut sheet devices, the nice part about cut sheet devices, you can switch stocks and things like that. But, all of us have jams or it doesn't pull from a tray or something like that. And that's, but roll-to-roll devices, they just run. You put the roll on and they will run. And Xeikon has done that for us. We have 4 of them. And most of it's direct mail, but one of the things that you have to do is you have to have a lot of the same. You don't want to be changing a roll every hour, and we don't, but they run reliable. We're currently running one operator, definitely runs 2 printers, and then they're probably helping out on other cut sheet devices and stuff in the plant too. But it's very efficient from an operator standpoint. Delivers fast. So, I mean, that's why we've relied on them for a lot of our larger jobs, good quality jobs.
Excellent. And I know that you sent us a video. So I think we are at the, at the point where let's run your video. And Perry, as we're setting it up, if you don't mind saying a few words over the video just to share
Sure.
with the audience what's happening.
Sure.
Great.
Yeah, this is our devices are all set up as roll in, and they're sheeted out the back. We have 8800s and 9800s. This is obviously most people, if you have Xeikon equipment, you've seen this, but it's going through. Very reliable. That's part of the reliability. And we will put those in the queue, and they just run back to back. Come out the stackers. They split them for the jobs that they're going to, and it's a lot of direct mail. That's the nice part about these. Will just run and run on direct mail applications. So these are locations of our Xeikons are in Des Moines and New Jersey. So we have a backup and capabilities, but as you can see in our print shop, there's other devices there too. So a big combination. And this is our applications coming out of the sheeter.
Perry, thank you. And I
You
think
bet.
as we get to the next slide, actually, and a question has already popped in, so I think this is going to fit in nicely with the question asked, and that is how much
Okay.
growth at Mittera, or what's happening given the coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah, the we were going along okay in all of our facilities, and then it kind of like a lot of people, the stay-at-home orders hit, and we've had a coronavirus individual, one of our employees, have it in one plant, but it died off pretty quick. I'm going to say first we thought it was going to be like a 5 to 15% business drop, but it's probably been about 50% drop. We've furloughed some employees, allowing them to take advantage of the unemployment and the incentives that the government has. So we are. It's hurt us, just like everybody else. Yeah. So things that we're doing right now, we're making sure we stay in touch with our customers. We're making sure that, we've answered a lot of RFPs. There's been a lot of questions about disaster recovery that we've had to get into. So we've been busy, but a lot of it's been in the administration side, keeping our customers happy. We've also had a number of customers double check on paper. Everybody's seeing some of the mills that are not as busy, so or shutting down. So we have had a number of customers that wanted to make sure that when things started ramping up, we have paper on hand that we can produce their jobs, and we're ready to take off when they're ready to run. So.
Excellent, and that fits very nicely into your next slide about what advice do you have for fellow colleagues during this time and when we come out of the COVID?
I think the biggest thing is you got to stay in contact and communicating with your customers. They're the ones that are also trying to figure out and what's going to change. I'm sure everybody's been on MSNBC or CNN and they've heard the new normal. Well, the new normal is going to be different. What are they going to do? But one of the things that I think is consistent, people are getting direct mail. I'm sure a lot of us can remember the days where you would maybe grab your mail every other day out of the mailbox because you were busy. Guess what? If you're like me, I see the mailman walk by and I pick it up right away. So I think direct mail is going to be big. It's going to be attractive. Plus, I think there's been a lot of training of online ordering. So people will and retailers will definitely start relying on direct mail. And so, from our standpoint, stay in contact with your customers, share stories of what others can do, use your technology to help out your existing customers get back on the ground and running again.
Excellent. Thank you, Perry. I know that
You bet.
we can all appreciate hearing what you're doing and your advice. And I know your last bullet on the slide was, but make sure that you're kind of balancing that fun too. So, and
Yeah.
appreciate you
Yeah.
allowing us to share this image of you. I know it's probably pre-COVID, but it's nice to
It
have a
was,
smile.
and it was actually beer pong. So just so you know.
Thanks, Perry.
You
Please stay
bet.
with us because we do have some additional questions